Hi friends, I'm so grateful to have this privilege to get to share with you this evening. My name is Dorcey, and I want to start off with a moment of just honesty between you and I, a confession in this safe space here. And it's simply this, that I am a recovering vegetarian. In fact, just yesterday I went to In-N-Out. I got a 3x3. It was amazing. I don't regret it at all. I'm like consistently blown away that they could fit so much patty and cheese into one sandwich and it's legal. Like, it's amazing. It wasn't always, though, that I had the privilege of eating delicious hamburgers. In fact, there was a period where I was vegetarian. It's true. It's real. It started with this belief years ago that it was for the good. So I slowly eliminated meat from my diet and got to the point where for about 2 years I strictly had no meat. And it started with this seed of a belief that it was best for me and it was a good way that I could actually serve the whole world and bring about a greater good by being vegetarian. Now, the purpose of this video isn't to sway you to become or to move away from being a vegetarian. Actually, I just share that story to demonstrate a principle. And the principle is really important and it's simple. It's this, that beliefs become behaviors. Our beliefs become behaviors. What we believe, what you and I hold to as belief, what we hold to be true, it affects our behaviors and our actions. I'll demonstrate it with another story. Imagine that you believed that happiness came from popularity, that the more popular you are, the more happy you'll be. And let's say it just started off as a small seed of a belief whereby it just gave you a little anxiety to think about the number of likes or followers you have on social media. So it doesn't affect you that much. But let's just play it out. What if it affected you more, whereby you were willing to compromise in your actions for the sake of winning certain friends over or not to risk losing others? Now, what if you lived your whole life according to this belief and it affected your most important and significant life decisions? Who you marry, where you go to college, your career, who you decide to be friends with. What if you made all of those decisions simply on the criteria, who and what is going to make me most popular? Now, can you see how our beliefs become behaviors? Now, you might ask, why is it so important what we believe? Well, think about that. Let's play that scenario out to its end. Imagine you live your whole life basing your decisions off of becoming more popular. And you get to the end of your life where here you are on your deathbed and you're reflecting, and in one moment you have this epiphany. What? Wait, it's not true. It's not true that popularity produces happiness. That's not true. In fact, you could look through your life in your memory bank and all these moments where it wasn't true. And you realize, wait, I lived my life according to a lie. So what's the cost of living according to a lie? It's all those missed opportunities, wasted energy. Wouldn't you have wanted to know that sooner in your life? Now think also, if our beliefs become behaviors, then that means that my beliefs really affect how I treat myself, how I treat you, my friends, my family, how I treat God and church and others in society. Really, our beliefs become foundational to all of our actions, and corporately, as a culture, it really determines the foundation of our society. Which direction are we going to go in? So really, beliefs, they constitute a base for all of our interactions socially and culturally. So beliefs are incredibly important. I understand that's actually going to be challenging to decide because there can be so much information today. This party's saying that party's saying that. This news is saying this news is saying this, these friends, this religion, this culture. So much noise, so many voices. It can be hard to sort through what's fake news, what isn't. I would just rather not decide. And so we decide to be indecisive. And this hurts us in the long run, because if our beliefs becomes behaviors, really our beliefs are meant to anchor us. So that when these people tell me to do this and these people are pulling me this way, I'm really anchored in a solid belief system. But without that, if we choose to just be indecisive, it takes a lot of courage to decide and stand up for what we believe. Now, the church has two sets of beliefs. They're both a summary, but they're a slightly different summary of the beliefs, and they're called creeds. One's called the Nicene Creed. The other is the Apostles' Creed. They're both ancient. They were for different audiences and for different purposes, but they both are a summary of the faith. So they're both still very relevant today and very helpful to inform our belief system. Now consider the fruit of the men and women throughout history that have believed what the church teaches. Now, you might not know this, but today the Catholic Church clothes more people, provides home, food, shelter, education, and medical attention to more people in the world than any other organization. That's big. Now consider in Los Angeles. I live in LA, and here the church provides for millions of men and women, orphaned parents, people in jail and prisons, people in need because they're sick, provides for millions of people, over 600 locations throughout the Archdiocese of Los Angeles. That's huge. Likewise, the Catholic Church is responsible for public education. Without the church, it would still belong just to the ruling class and the elite. You can see the effect, the behaviors of Catholics throughout ages because of their beliefs. Now, I want to highlight one particular belief. The first line of both the creeds, it starts with this: I believe in God, the Father, the Almighty. And this line is simple, but it's really huge, because what it says is that there is a God and he's a Father. Now that's profound. There is a God, so that means there's a creator who made me. He made you, so that means there's intention for all of this. Now, is it good or bad intention? Well, if he's a father, that means he cares. It means he loves. So all of this, you exist for a good purpose. You exist for love. I exist for love. That's great news. I believe in God the Father. That's great news. Now, this really began to affect me in my life when I was about 21. Up to that point, I believed in God, but I really only allowed it to affect me to a degree. I didn't go to Mass regularly, nor did I decided against being confirmed. So it really affected my decisions only in so much as I thought it was important to be a good person. But when I was 21, I had the privilege to go to confession, and it was there where I received God's mercy for the first time in my life, and I really came to know him as a loving Father. I came to know that. So this seed of belief, this seed of faith that was planted in me when I was young, it really matured because I began to see this is more true than I thought. And so I began to behave accordingly. I started to go to Mass. I made the decision to become confirmed. Over the series of events over several years, I began to grow in knowledge and belief of God's love for me, and I wanted to share that love, so I became a missionary for 3 years. At this point even, I left my job about a year ago to pursue being able to share full-time God's love and grow community where people could grow in the knowledge and belief of God's love. Now, you should know this about the church, that throughout her existence, more people have died professing faith that Jesus is Lord than any other belief system, any other ideology or movement throughout all of history. And this is important because what it says is there are hundreds of millions of people throughout time who have discovered that the love of God belief in God, the Father, the Almighty, that He loves you, He loves me, He has a plan for our goodness, for our well-being, that He sent Jesus, His Son, to die so you could have life and have it to the full, so I could have that life. People have discovered that to a degree. They've been willing to believe that to a degree where they would behave unto death. They would die for that belief. They believed it so wholeheartedly, they would give their life. So here's my challenge for you. Don't take it lightly when you pray these words. When you say the creed, whether it be at Mass or at home or in any setting, don't take it lightly. In fact, I invite you today to use it as an examine. Use it to really truly think and ask yourself two questions as you go through it. Do I believe this? And does my behavior reflect my beliefs? Do I believe this? Does my behavior reflect my beliefs? You can ask that even to your parent or your sponsor. Does my behavior reflect my beliefs? Now, it's okay if you're not sure about some of the things. It's okay to say, no, I don't believe this, but I want to understand. I hope that you would be hungry for answers. Don't just go through the motions throughout this course. Don't go through it and just pretend like you're kind of believing and you're going along with it. I dare you, I challenge you to ask the hard questions. If you don't understand something, if you don't really buy into it or believe it, ask. Ask. Don't wait until the end of your life. Ask now. It's so important to wrestle with these questions sooner rather than later. Don't wait another day to live your life according to the full truth. Many people throughout history have been willing to die for that truth. So my question for you is, to what degree are you willing to live for what you believe?